Jackson Black. Pleasure to meet you.
Ruth Stewart, very nice to meet you as well.
I can tell I'm going to be in really good hands.
Indeed.
Why even tell me in the first
Okay,
place?
forget I mentioned it, okay?
Come on.
It's not fine, Jackson.
Infidelity. It's going to be all right. I promise.
A house divided against itself shall not stand. Husbands and wives, walk in the spirit of love. Disputes must be settled at home. You cannot expect the mercy of God when you yourself do not intend to extend it to others.
All right, American Black Film Festival has kicked off, and I'm just super excited to talk with, all the many filmmakers emerging and established. And, today I'm going to be speaking with Alana Barrett-Atkins, who is acting, directed, produced Asunder. I watched Asunder last night, and I was like, okay, what's happening here? What's happening here? I first want to talk about, your background really quickly, Alana. You went to NYU for film school. What was that experience like for you? Can you hear me?
Well, first of all, I actually went, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, so I actually went to NYU for theater, for drama.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up actually coming into becoming a filmmaker. Asunder is my first feature film. I did a web series, like a proof of concept web series on YouTube called Women of Adonai Project, which is based on a play that I wrote. And it's just different interviews with different women about their life stories and how they came to faith. And we got a lot of, actually great audience reception to that proof of concept series. And a lot of people, even globally, mostly in West Africa, Nigeria, Uganda, South Africa, Benin, they were also watching these stories, and that was just amazing. And so my experience of going to NYU was really great. I got obviously a quality education, got an opportunity to work with some really, really great teachers and a really great program. And I also work I teach production at NYU at one of the film conservatories there. And it's been a really great experience, almost like full circle, I guess.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so we got to talk about Asunder because we are in American Black Film Festival. It is officially kicked off. Such a powerful, well done, well executed Black love story for me. The ending threw me. I was like, what?
Okay.
All right. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, Alana. Okay, you guys, you have to see this movie. You have to see Asunder. If you are Black, if you are in love, if you are a woman, LGBTQ, I don't care who you are, what you represent, you have to see this movie. You touched on so many topics, so many issues of, how we project, how we see love, the breakdown, that love is about sacrificing, love is about being patient and understanding and being kind. I want to talk about your character's name, which is Ruth. And Ruth is one of the most amazing figures, I'll say, in the Bible. Mm-hmm. People talk a lot about Ruth. Did you name your character intentionally Ruth because of, the story, the biblical story of Ruth?
Right, yeah. And as I've mentioned before, this story actually came as a result of a prayer that I had. So obviously Ruth and Boaz, instead of Ruth, Boaz, Brandon.
Right.
So Brandon was her Boaz. So it's that idea of, because when you think about being in love and all of that, you have a certain idea in your mind. And so this idea of what does Boaz look like and all of that, I wanted to play with that a little bit. And that Ruth-Boaz dynamic in a real way.
Wow. What made you decide to, in terms of the cinematography of it, like the pacing of it was really like slow and deliberate, And I remember thinking like, wow, who are her film like role models? You know what I mean? Because as I was looking at the film and looking at the style and, you know, everything that's in the mise en scène, I'm like, this reminds me of this filmmaker, but that reminds me of that filmmaker. You know, so who are some of the filmmakers that you admire that you may have perhaps for Asunder kind of like, I'm going to take a little piece of this and I'm going to take a little piece of that, you know?
I basically took from a lot of my favorite movies. Well, first of all, shout out to my amazing DP, Nathaniel Brown, and my editor, Jeremy Trott. But I wanted it to be like you had to reckon with being in the space together. So if you notice, even with the brownstone, it's a brownstone, so there's wealth there, it's well built, but it's still a brownstone, very woody, very archaic.
Yeah.
And I wanted that feel for the film, because I wanted it to be like, I wanted you to hear the creaking of the wood as they walked, and what that felt like. And even though I could, you know, we could cut a lot faster, of course we could, but I wanted there to be that discomfort in like the silence, because that's what it's like. I mean, it's not action every single moment. It's those moments in between.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this movie because I didn't know, you know, I watch a ton of movies and I'm just like, okay, what's this one gonna be? What's this one gonna be? Girl, I'm watching that again. I have to watch, I'm watching Asunder again. You guys did such an exceptional job with, like I said, you know, telling the story and just the complications of love and Black love and, you know, just that big conversation that always exists in the space about, you know, when men cheat versus when women cheat, you know? So what was your decision to make Ruth the one that was having what was perceived as the physical indiscretion?
Because I wanted it to be different. And we've seen movies and series where women cheat or have affairs or things like that.
Right.
I wanted it to be a little bit different. And I wanted to have that conversation too, because you're absolutely right. Especially, I would say, not that we're a monolith, but especially in Black culture, there's a difference between when men cheat and when women cheat and how that's perceived, especially when you layer on the context of like church and all of that. And
wait a minute, hold on, not to cut you off, Alana, but you guys, please see this movie. That church scene, I'm not going to give away the scenes. I swear to God, I'm not going to give away the movie, Alana, I'm not. But that church scene where Ruth looks over at him like...
Right. So
you
it was
like, so good. But just getting back to continue on the conversation, finish your point just about cheating in the Black community, you know, when you add the layers of church and community and family.
Yeah. And these are sub, I guess, like subcategories within culture, because there's Black culture, but then there's Black Caribbean culture. Then you have Black church culture. And so layering on the church culture, which mostly sometimes, you know, I'm a person of faith, so, you know, I could talk about my own. But typically the women are the ones expected to just kind of bear it. And, you know, it seems like when it's the opposite side, it's like, oh, you know. So I wanted to just explore it. I wanted to explore what that would look like. And just layering on, like I said, the culture, the subcultural context as well, and see what that would look like and what this couple had to really go through in order to heal, which was really messy. It was very, but healing is messy. Transformation can be messy. It's not cut and dry and it's not clean. Even at the end, which you guys will see.
I love that Ruth held her ground though. I love that Ruth, you know, I just fell in love with Ruth. I'm like, girl, hold still, like hold your ground, stand. I was like, go back down, Ruth. The dinner table scene was another scene.
Yes. That was one of my favorite scenes to shoot.
That's the last scene I want to mention about the movie. But you guys, you definitely have to see this movie. What was the shooting schedule like for you for this?
Oh my God, it was, first of all, this film just to do was a miracle because one, we had no budget. We crowd fundraised for this. I had two friends of mine who I knew had a little extra cash I gave them an associate producer credit, and then I funded the rest from my meager savings.
Wow.
we got it done. We got it done. I had my DP. I worked with him for the project and other things too. So we had a great relationship. We were able to work together. My editor, Jeremy Trott, he's amazing. The shooting schedule though, it was difficult to get all 13 people together.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just the people at the table. You're also talking about the crew. You're also
Yeah.
talking about making sure craft services are there and makeup person is there, and it was a lot of people. And that scene almost didn't happen. And
What?
when
It's
I
such a
tell you the
critical
day-
scene, though.
But yeah, it was beautiful. But
Okay,
we almost
my
didn't have
opinion, I think it's a critical scene. Wow.
my DP wasn't available that day, so we scrambled at the end. We ended up having our first AC. He was able to do it for us. They all worked as DPs, thankfully. And we got it done. We borrowed the equipment, and literally hours before the shoot was supposed to happen, we got it done. So shooting
Amazing, amazing. So let me ask you this. What is one of the biggest misnomers you had that you no longer have about, filmmaking and the whole creative process of, getting the film from the idea to the script to executing it and to getting it in a festival? I mean, American Black Film Festival is huge. This is big.
I am
big, girl.
God, to God be the glory. Seriously. I'm so honored to even be considered, this film to even considered to be a part of this festival. And I look at the lineup of filmmakers, words cannot even express how humbled I am to be here. But definitely one of the misnomers that I had is like, somebody like me can't do this. Like, you need to have connections in order to do this, in order to make this film. You need to know somebody who knows somebody. You need to already be in order to get onto a platform, not just ABFF, but period, just to do it. I think this has shown me, and maybe too, because God is in it, and I believe that, that we can do it. We can do it. You can do it. It's just putting one foot in front of the other, one step in front of the other. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, but it got done.
Wow.
So that's one of the biggest things that I saw, because I was not listen, please know, Tanisha, I was not the person. I did not want to direct this. I didn't want to be Ruth. I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to write it. I wanted to be the producer. That was it. But
it was, no one else could have done this role.
And my creative team was pushing me to do it.
Yeah.
They said, why don't you direct it? Why don't you play Ruth? I'm like, I don't have a budget for a lead actress. We only have a budget for maybe 2 or 3 other characters. They're like, you wrote the script. Just do it. You can act. Do it.
I love it.
All the roads led back to
you.
To me doing it. Yeah. And I'm glad
that's where we are. That's where we are. I think that's what this climate is teaching us, that we are enough.
Mm-hmm.
You are enough.
Mm-hmm.
I am enough.
Right.
Whatever it is that you want to do, you got to do it. You don't have to look for anything or anyone outside of yourself to make your dream come true, to execute everything that you have inside of you. Ruth, when you think about, what you would like to do next, in terms of acting, writing, producing, directing, what is your role of a lifetime? What is your directing project of a lifetime? Like, what does that look like?
It looks like what I'm doing right now, which is actually a series. I have an executive producer on board. It takes place during the Reconstruction era in 1875, rural Pennsylvania, in an all-Black town, and it's a dynamic story. Really?
Yeah, I'm from outside of Philadelphia, from a small town called Chester. PA.
Chester.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know somebody from there. One of our actors is from Chester, Pennsylvania. But yeah, that's the role of a lifetime. I love to work with Mahershala Ali, with Regina King, Viola Davis, just big heavy hitters. Really get Black Hollywood behind it. Really amazing Black producers behind it, and be the creator and showrunner. And it show us in a way that hasn't been seen before, and let it be celebrated, just like I did with Brendan and Ruth.
I cannot wait to see it. I want to hear about your person who's from Chester, though. Who's that person?
The person who played my father.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's from Chester, Pennsylvania.
Wow. See, this is why I love my job. Like, you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
Just never,
And he's a
ever.
proud Chester man too. He went to Morehouse, but he's a proud Chester. He always talks about being from Chester, Pennsylvania. From the
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Wow, I can't wait to kind of like add that into it some way, shape, or form. I got to figure out how to like insert, that whole Chester piece. This is absolutely amazing, Ruth. Talk to me. I have a few more moments. Talk to me rather quickly about what resonated with you when you learned Asunder was going to be an ABFF selection. I think your film got in, girl. Your film got in, girl. Your film got in.
Oh my God. It just really registered to me that the work that we did was not in vain, that all the work that we put in was not for nothing, that people will be able to get an opportunity to see it, to reckon with the message of it, which is about love. What does it mean to love somebody? This film started as a prayer, in a very selfish prayer that I had. But I hope that people will stop to consider, am I loving? Am I loving my partner? Do I know do I know how to love? And what will it take for me to really sacrifice for that other person? And people get to see that and reckon with that. And so for that, I was so grateful. And so grateful that my community received it. There's always that fear when you have your baby. It's like, God, please don't tell me my child is ugly. Just, this is my baby.
You hear me call you Ruth? I just called you Ruth. Alana. I'm like,
please don't say my child is ugly.
You are silly. You are silly. Ruth, what do you want to say to women, in this climate that we're in? The divine feminine is just letting us know that she's here and she's here for us. What do you want to say to women who, are meeting the challenges of being filmmakers, in a space that is predominantly male, predominantly white male, and we're still trying to, make the case for diversity and inclusion? What do you want to say to women, who are still having a difficult time, getting through certain challenges, who may want to give up,
I would say definitely don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Continue to make your stories, continue to push for them, use the people around you. You have people rooting you on. Listen, even if it's 5 people in the corner, those 5 people are down for you. Make your work for them, and hopefully soon that audience is going to build, it's going to grow. I didn't think somebody would be willing to take on my work and to celebrate my work. And it's like, look at where we are now. 2 years ago, I was being fired from another job, and look at where we are right now, just from faith. So just have faith, continue to push forward. God's got you, and you're on the right path. You're on the right path.
I love that. Alana Barrett-Atkins, this was so great chatting with you this afternoon. Have an amazing weekend. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Asunder. It's definitely one of my faves in the festival, and I've already seen a lot of films, so I wish you and your team all the best. Continue blessings and have an amazing weekend.
Thank you. God bless you too, Tanisha. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
What do I want you to say? How about sorry for embarrassing me in front of your family?
I said that I was sorry.
I do.
I do.
Nothing I do is good enough for you.
You are a real inspiration.
Thanks. I learned my best tactics from Ruth.
Me too.